Hey fam, thanks for watching Urban Intelligence. This is going to be our official video blog for Young Nation TV. I'm Terik Jackson, the National Director of Youth and College Affairs, and of course there's an issue that is going on with Herman Cain, who happens to be a Morehouse man, class of 1968 to be exact. He also was elected to the Board of Trustees in 2002 and is now running for President of the United States of America. He has a pretty impressive resume. However, he's under fire right now on some sexual harassment charges from about 4 different women, we think. That number could grow. 2 of which of those women we have not heard anything from. 1 has spoken to the public via her attorney, and then there was a 3rd that showed up today with, of course, a celebrity feminist lawyer, Gloria and of course Sharon Bialeck is this young lady who is now coming forward with some allegations against Herman Cain. This is the issue. Of course, in Urban Intelligence, we don't seem to think like everybody else. And when I was watching Miss Sharon Bialeck's press conference today, there seems to be some things that are just not quite adding up. And I hope the feminist folks don't get mad at me, but we need to explore those things. And the letter or the press conference was well put together, but there seemed to be quite a few loopholes. The first thing I had an issue with is she said about a month after she was terminated that she went and met with Herman Cain in D.C. About getting a job. And the idea for her to do this came from her boyfriend, or the person she was dating at the time, who happens to be a medical doctor. And he thought that Mr. Cain had a particular interest in his girlfriend and decided it was okay for her to go down and meet with Mr. Cain. It doesn't seem clear whether or not this was an entire weekend that she had planned to go up and meet with Mr. Cain. But what is absolutely clear is that she checked into a hotel room that was apparently upgraded by Mr. Herman Cain to a palatial suite, as she says. She went down and had dinner with Mr. Cain about 6:30, and they had a few drinks at the hotel, left the hotel, went to an Italian restaurant. After leaving the Italian restaurant, some things transpired. But I want to go back to the point that it's 6:30 and she's having a drink, of course, and the idea is that she hopes that Mr. Herman Cain will be able to help her get a job. Well, they start off drinking, which suggests to me that somebody was under the influence. And of course, being adults, that's okay. But the issue with that is they then went to an Italian restaurant where she says Mr. Herman Cain asked her, "Why are you
He then took me to an Italian restaurant where we had dinner. During dinner, Mr. Cain looked at me and said, "Why are you here?" I said, "Actually, Herman, my boyfriend, whom you met, suggested that I meet with you, and because he thought you could help me because I really need a job."
It's very difficult for me to understand why Mr. Cain would ask such a question if he was in fact clear as to why Gloria was in town. That's okay. There's more. Then Gloria says that she reveals to him that it was her boyfriend's idea for her to come up and solicit a job from Herman Cain. Well, her and Herman end up on the way to the office, corporate offices there, and she says that after they left dinner, which suggests to me that at least 8 o'clock, right? At the least, and at the max about 9 o'clock at night, they are going to the corporate offices of the NRA. On the way in, she says instead of them going inside, Herman put his hand in her crotch area and from there pulled her head down toward his crotch. This is my issue. Gloria Allred, who's representing her, is arguably one of the best attorneys in the country. She's a celebrity attorney. She's been very effective in some of the things that she's accomplished. But isn't it clear that the allegations here has nothing to do with sexual harassment as much as that is sexual assault? That is a felony in most states to grab a woman against her will, and then of course to force her head into a location that she does not want her head to go. That is sexual assault. And so I have an issue, I've taken great issue with some of the details that why she didn't seem to think it was a criminal offense, but waited some 14 years later, this is a 1997 allegation by the way, waited some 14 years later during Herman Cain's presidential bid to come up against him.
While we were driving back to the hotel, he said that he would show me where the National Restaurant Association offices were. He parked the car down the block. I thought that we were going to go into the offices so that he could show me around. At that time, I had on a black pleated skirt, a suit jacket, and a blouse. He had on a suit with his shirt open. But instead of going into the offices, he suddenly reached over and he put his hand on my leg, under my skirt, and reached for my genitals. He also grabbed my head and brought it towards his crotch. I was very, very surprised and very shocked. I said, "What are you doing? You know I have a boyfriend. This isn't what I came here for." Mr. Cain said, "You want a job, right?"
Now, to every sister, to every daughter, to every wife or girlfriend out there, if you are ever sexually assaulted by a man, do not wait 14 years to address it, and definitely don't take the opportunity to do it in a public forum in this nature. This, to me, suggests that there is a lot more involved in this than what is evident before us. You know, what I don't want to do is I don't want this to become a time where we bash, because if there's anything wrong, if in fact Mr. Herman Cain acted in a way that was unbecoming of a presidential nominee, then we of course need to find that out. However, it amazes me how people will hold on to your past and just wait till it's time for you to be promoted to leash things against you. But what we do is we play victim and we allow those types of things to take place, and we cry, "Woe is the victim, woe is the victim," and we say for 14 years, Miss Gloria, Miss Sharon Bialeck sat somewhere, right, having suffered a alleged sexual assault. Now, that leads me to believe that either that was not important to her at the time, or it wasn't as dramatic as it was today. This is not a video that is supporting Herman Cain. This is a video that supports common sense amongst urban young people, where we do not allow certain things to take place, and we certainly don't give credence to things that don't make sense to us. I'm going to leave you with this, and I think it's very important. You can go ahead and post your responses to what I've said. I want to wrap up what I said so you don't manipulate what I'm saying to you. In our community, it is not okay to harbor hurt and then do something to hurt the person that hurt you when you see them trying to advance. That is not a proper recourse when having been offended. Unfortunately, this is what our society has cultivated. A bunch of underground, offended people who are waiting for you to take a step and advance your career or your life before you even realize that you offended them. It's not fair at all. I suggest to you that an aha moment happen right now. I suggest to you that if there's anybody in your life that has hurt you, offended you, abused you, address it now. Address it now, so that your credibility is not challenged, or that your life is not mitigated to the offense that has happened to you. You are so much greater than that.